In a small village nestled in the Italian countryside, a boy named Francesco Forgione was born in 1887. He would later be known to the world as Padre Pio, one of the most revered and enigmatic figures in Christian history. From a young age, Francesco exhibited a deep devotion to God, often retreating into prayer and contemplation. His spiritual gifts became apparent early, with visions of Christ and the Virgin Mary that others could scarcely comprehend. As he grew, Francesco joined the Capuchin friars and adopted the name Pio, dedicating his life to God. It was during his years as a friar in San Giovanni Rotondo that his extraordinary life began to unfold. Padre Pio was no ordinary priest. He bore the stigmata, the physical wounds of Christ's crucifixion, for 50 years. These marks, visible on his hands, feet, and side, bled continually and caused him immense physical suffering, a testament to his deep union with Christ's passion. Before continuing, I wanted to ask you a quick favor. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and your help is very important. So if you subscribe and comment subscribed, I will respond to your comment as a thank you. Thank you very much for your support. Now, let's continue. But the stigmata was just the beginning. Padre Pio exhibited miraculous gifts that drew pilgrims from across the globe. He was known to read the souls of those who came to confession, revealing their sins and guiding them toward redemption with a clarity that seemed divine. Stories circulated of his ability to bilocate, appearing in 2 places at once to provide comfort or perform acts of mercy. Yet, Padre Pio's life was not without challenges. The Vatican, cautious of claims of sainthood and the authenticity of miracles, launched investigations into his stigmata and mystical experiences. Skeptics accused him of fraud, even as countless others testified to his sanctity and the miracles they witnessed. Through these trials, Padre Pio remained steadfast in his faith, offering his suffering as a sacrifice for the salvation of souls. As he aged, Padre Pio's health began to deteriorate. By the late 1960s, the wounds that had marked his body for decades began to heal, signaling that his earthly mission was nearing its end. It was during these final months that he shared his most haunting and profound revelations, 3 prophecies that would serve as warnings for the Church and the world. These prophecies, shrouded in mystery and awe, were not mere predictions of doom, but calls to spiritual awakening and preparation. They spoke to the very heart of humanity's struggles and offered a path back to God. To understand their gravity, we must first explore the world as Padre Pio saw it, a world teetering on the edge of both spiritual renewal and profound darkness. As Padre Pio approached his final days, the messages he shared with those closest to him carried an urgency that could not be ignored. These revelations, given to a priest, a physician, and a devoted follower, unveiled a roadmap for the trials humanity would face. Let us now delve into the 3 prophecies that continue to resonate with the modern world. As Padre Pio's earthly journey drew to a close, the profound weight of his spiritual gifts manifested in 3 prophecies that would echo far beyond his time. These revelations, given to a priest, a physician, and a spiritual daughter, carried both a warning and a promise for the future of humanity. Each prophecy was accompanied by a specific sign, a harbinger that would mark the moment these events began to unfold. The first prophecy, a crisis in the Church. To Father Gabriele Amorth, the Vatican's chief exorcist and a trusted confidant, Padre Pio disclosed a vision of upheaval within the Church. The houses of God, he said, will be filled with those who come not to worship but to hide. These chilling words described a future where faith would falter, even among the faithful. Padre Pio foresaw a time when the Eucharist, the heart of Catholic worship, would be doubted by many. He warned that this crisis of faith would not arise from external persecution, but from within. When you see the faithful begin to doubt the presence of Christ in the Eucharist, he told Father Amorth, know that the time has come. Today, this prophecy resonates deeply. Studies reveal a stark decline in the belief in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, with surveys showing that fewer than half of self-identified Catholics hold this traditional doctrine. The Church, once a sanctuary of unwavering faith, now grapples with division, scandal, and the erosion of spiritual convictions. Padre Pio's words remind us that the signs of this crisis are already visible, urging us to return to the sacraments and the truth of Christ's presence. The second prophecy, the 3 days of darkness. To Dr. Giuseppe Sala, a devoted physician who cared for Padre Pio, the saint shared a vision far more harrowing. He spoke of a time when the sky would be enveloped in darkness for 3 days. This darkness, he explained, would not be merely a physical phenomenon, but a spiritual manifestation of humanity's collective estrangement from God. People will flee to their homes, Padre Pio warned, but many will find no refuge there. The faithful must keep blessed candles and holy water, for only these will give light during this darkness. He cautioned against curiosity, stating that those who opened their windows during the event would fall dead instantly. Padre Pio described a sign that would precede this prophecy, a year of unprecedented natural disasters, followed by a winter where flowers bloomed out of season. As we examine the patterns of our own time, climate anomalies, earthquakes, and wildfires of historic proportions, it is hard to ignore the parallels. Are these the signs he spoke of? His message, however, was not one of despair, but of preparation. He emphasized the power of sacramentals and prayer, encouraging the faithful to anchor themselves in their faith and trust in God's protection. The third prophecy, the Great Warning. The final and most unsettling prophecy was given to Lucia Montana, a spiritual daughter of Padre Pio, just 3 days before his death. This revelation was so disturbing that Lucia kept it secret for decades, revealing it only after witnessing the unfolding of the very signs Padre Pio had described. "My child," he told her, "there will come a day when people will no longer believe because they think they know everything. Science will claim to have all the answers, but will miss the most important one." Padre Pio foresaw a time when humanity would celebrate advancements in technology and medicine that promise eternal life, while millions of souls perish spiritually. The sign for this prophecy was chillingly specific. When you see men recreating life without women and machines thinking like men, then know that the time of the Great Warning is at hand. In our modern age, we are witnessing the rise of artificial intelligence and genetic engineering. Scientists are developing artificial wombs, pushing the boundaries of human reproduction. AI systems mimic human thought, raising ethical and philosophical questions about the very nature of life and consciousness. These developments, while celebrated for their innovation, echo the warnings of Padre Pio, reminding us of the spiritual cost of technological hubris. A divine pattern. Though these 3 prophecies may seem distinct, Padre Pio hinted at a deeper connection. He described them as part of a divine pattern, a tapestry of warnings meant to guide humanity through the trials of the modern age. The crisis in the Church, the 3 days of darkness, and the Great Warning are not isolated events, but interconnected threads in a narrative of both challenge and hope. Padre Pio's prophecies call us to awaken from spiritual complacency. They urge us to recognize the signs of the times, not with fear, but with resolve to return to God. As he emphasized, these warnings are not punishments but acts of divine mercy, offering humanity a chance to repent and prepare for what is to come. While these prophecies paint a stark picture of the challenges ahead, Padre Pio did not leave us without guidance. He provided a roadmap for spiritual preparation, offering tools to fortify our faith and protect our souls. In the next chapter, we will explore the practical steps he outlined to help us navigate these trials and emerge stronger in our relationship with God. The prophecies of Padre Pio, though daunting, were not meant to incite fear, but to awaken faith. He offered a path of preparation, a roadmap to navigate the trials he foresaw. This preparation, rooted in spiritual devotion and trust in God, equips the faithful with the tools to endure crises and remain steadfast in hope. Padre Pio emphasized the sacraments as a foundation of spiritual resilience. Return to the sacraments, he urged, not occasionally, but with your whole heart. He described the Eucharist as spiritual armor, a source of divine grace to fortify the soul. Similarly, He placed great importance on confession, calling it the gateway to reconciliation with God. Through confession, the faithful are cleansed of sin, and through the Eucharist, they are united with Christ. Padre Pio's teachings remind us that these sacred rituals are not mere traditions, but profound encounters with the divine, essential for enduring trials with faith intact. Padre Pio often referred to the Rosary as the weapon for the battles ahead. He urged the faithful to pray it daily, highlighting its power to invoke divine intercession and protection. During the foretold 3 days of darkness, he insisted that the Rosary, along with blessed candles, would serve as the only light for many. The Rosary's repetitive prayers serve as a meditative practice, drawing the faithful closer to God and reinforcing their trust in His providence. It is a simple yet profound tool, accessible to all, that has been a source of comfort and strength for centuries. Consecration to the Sacred and Immaculate Hearts. Another key element of Padre Pio's guidance was the consecration of oneself and one's family to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. This act of devotion symbolizes a surrender to divine love and protection. Padre Pio compared this consecration to the Israelites following the pillar of fire through the desert. He believed that those under the protection of the Sacred and Immaculate Hearts would be guided safely through the darkness, just as the Israelites were led to the Promised Land. By dedicating themselves to these devotions, the faithful align their lives with God's will and place their trust in His divine plan. The role of sacramentals. Padre Pio stressed the importance of keeping blessed sacramentals in one's home. Holy water, blessed candles, and crucifixes were not mere symbols, but spiritual weapons. He explained that these objects carry divine blessings and could serve as shields against evil during times of trial. In particular, he emphasized the necessity of blessed candles during the 3 days of darkness, instructing the faithful to light them as a sign of their trust in God's protection. These sacramentals serve as tangible reminders of faith, offering comfort and reassurance in times of uncertainty. Preparation with love, not fear. Perhaps the most profound aspect of Padre Pio's message was his insistence on preparation rooted in love, not fear. Perfect love casts out fear, he often quoted, urging the faithful to approach these warnings with a heart full of trust in God's mercy. Fear, he taught, could paralyze the soul and lead to despair. Love, on the other hand, inspires action and strengthens resolve. By focusing on love for God and others, the faithful can face even the darkest trials with courage and hope. Padre Pio's guidance is as relevant today as it was when he shared it. His message is a call to spiritual renewal, an invitation to deepen one's faith and trust in God. Through the sacraments, the Rosary, consecration, and the use of sacramentals, he offered practical steps to prepare for times of crisis. But above all, he reminded us that these acts of devotion must flow from a heart filled with love. In doing so, we become beacons of light in a world that often feels shrouded in darkness. As we prepare spiritually, we must also recognize the signs of the times and understand how these prophecies align with the world we live in. In the next chapter, we will explore the connections between Padre Pio's warnings and the events unfolding in our modern era. Padre Pio's prophecies, though spoken over half a century ago, resonate profoundly with the challenges and transformations of our modern world. As technology advances, societal values shift, and nature itself seems to rebel, the signs he described appear increasingly relevant. The first prophecy, which foretold a crisis within the Church, is vividly reflected in our time. Surveys indicate that belief in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist has dwindled dramatically among Catholics. Scandals within the Church and divisions among its leaders have sown confusion and doubt, leaving many faithful disillusioned. The image of churches filled with those who come not to worship but to hide captures the state of a faith community grappling with identity and purpose. Padre Pio's words serve as a wake-up call, urging believers to rekindle their faith and return to the sacraments as a source of spiritual renewal. The second prophecy, concerning the 3 days of darkness, is mirrored in the environmental upheavals of our age. Climate change, natural disasters, and unprecedented weather patterns align eerily with the signs Padre Pio described. A winter where flowers bloom out of season, for instance, is no longer an anomaly, but an increasingly common occurrence in a warming world. While some dismiss these events as natural phenomena, others see them as spiritual reminders, a call to reflect on humanity's stewardship of creation and its relationship with the divine. The third prophecy, the Great Warning, speaks directly to the technological marvels of the 21st century. Padre Pio's vision of machines thinking like men and life created without women is strikingly relevant as artificial intelligence evolves and genetic engineering pushes the boundaries of human reproduction. AI systems now mimic human thought, raising ethical concerns about autonomy and morality. Similarly, advances in artificial womb technology suggest a future where traditional processes of life creation could be fundamentally altered. These developments, while celebrated by some, echo Padre Pio's warning about the spiritual dangers of over-reliance on human ingenuity. The connection between Padre Pio's prophecies and the modern world is undeniable. These warnings challenge us to view contemporary advancements and crises through a spiritual lens, balancing human progress with divine guidance. They remind us that amid the chaos of change, our greatest refuge lies in faith and trust in God. While the signs of Padre Pio's prophecies may appear stark, they are not messages of despair, but invitations to hope. In the concluding chapter, we will reflect on the ultimate purpose of these revelations and how they inspire us to become lights in the darkness. The prophecies of Padre Pio, though solemn, were never meant to be messages of despair. They were, at their core, an invitation to awaken, to prepare, and to return to the heart of faith. His words remind us that even in the darkest times, God's mercy is greater than any trial we may face. Padre Pio's revelations challenge us to see beyond the surface of the world's crises and advancements. They urge us to anchor our lives in prayer, the sacraments, and acts of love, becoming lights for others in a time of growing uncertainty. His teachings about the rosary, consecration, and sacramentals are not relics of the past, but tools of empowerment for navigating the challenges of the present. Above all, Padre Pio's life and prophecies reveal that the trials of this world are temporary. Beyond the darkness, there is a promise of renewal, of revival, and of grace for those who remain steadfast. The key is to approach these times not with fear, but with trust in God's providence. As Padre Pio often said, pray, hope, and don't worry. Through faith and preparation, we can embrace the hope that these words inspire, becoming beacons of light for a world in need of redemption. Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that we can reach the mark of 1,000 subscribers. With your help, we will be able to reach this number as quickly as possible. Thank you for being there, and next time.